don't know that it's fair to compare this 87 Reds ball club with the one of the decade of the 70s in terms of power. But the way this club's hitting home runs, at least you got to talk about it.
We might have to go back to 56, Marty. I'm telling you, it's amazing. We've got the top 2 hitters in home runs, and Cal Daniels right behind him. He hasn't played that much, and he's still up there with the league leaders. It's an incredible amount of power, and not only that, but all of the categories as far as extra base hits concerned. Buddy Bell's up there, Ron Oster's leads in triples. You name it, the Reds have been able to do it up to this point, and you think, the ball's live here? I don't think so. When you start looking around the league, this is the only team that's doing it.
I don't know about that baseball, though. Joe, as far as the pitching is concerned, the bullpen continues to do a sensational job. Starting pitching, on the other hand, a little bit shaky.
Well, it's been a little shaky the last 5 starts, I think, Marty, but the bullpen, as you say, if there's a better one in all of baseball, I want to see it. Simply be these guys keep doing the job. Last night, a good example. They gave up 1 run in 4 innings, and just an outstanding performance once again. So when you have that type of bullpen, you can't be too concerned about going down there.
Tom Browning going tonight. It's been a very up and down season for him, and I know Pete is hoping that he gets a good start from him.
Well, I think Browning, you know, we talked about the 90-mile-an-hour screwball a few starts ago, and I think that's the thing that Browning has to relax a little more. You know, he's a highly competitive kid, and he has to learn to relax just a little bit and do his thing, not try to force it.
How about a few more home runs tonight from a former home run hitter?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's great to be here with Mike Schmidt, of course. They're honoring him for many accomplishments, mostly the 500. But this ball club has worn out Bruce Ruffin.
That's right.
They have no problem solving him, and he's had problems. This is his worst club to pitch against as far as his career. It's a very short career, but up to this point, he's had a lot of problems with all the Reds hitters. So I'll always love to hit in this ballpark. In fact, I have 2 there in the upper deck, Marty.
Well, it's indeed a big night for Mike Schmidt. Earlier this evening, Johnny Bench visited with a Philadelphia great third baseman. That interview coming up right after this from your local stations.
With me here tonight is the newest member of the 500 Club, Mike Schmidt, a good friend, and also a great pleasure to play with you all these years, Mike. And first of all, congratulations on this big night. It's a big event. I guess everybody. I tried to get you down here by saying that we're going to show this back to Dayton for your mom and dad, but now you tell me they're here.
That's right, John. The Phillies have been so kind to fly in whoever I requested from back in my early days as an athlete, my Little League coach, my high school coach that coached me in 3 different sports, Bob Wren from Ohio University, my family, my roommate in college, close friends. It's really going to be a this is your life situation out there for me tonight. And I'll be danged if I know what they're going to do when I retire.
You kind of feel inconspicuous. There's so much being involved in this. I mean, the 500th home run got a lot of coverage, and one thing about it, you took no time in getting that 500th home run.
Yeah, that's unusual. When you go into a season and you know you need 5 home runs to reach that kind of a milestone, I was, as much as anybody, I was worried about prolonging it, you know, pressing, trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, getting my batting stroke all screwed up trying to do it, and really digging a rut for myself, but it didn't happen that way. I hit pretty well early. I had a little spell right after the 500th home run that I wasn't too happy with, but for the most part...
Was it a letdown at that point?
Well, you know, I'm not the greatest at playing on with all the focus on me, and I sensed that there was a great deal of focus on me as an individual. You know, our team wasn't playing too well and still isn't playing too well, and all the hoopla has been over Mike Schmidt's 500th home run, and of course tonight we came off a loss to the Reds last night, and now we got to celebrate, you know, and it's an uncomfortable feeling sometimes for me to be the center of all this celebration when things aren't going too well, if you know what I mean.
What about for the future? In the papers, 600's out of the question.
I would think so, John. I would take at least 2 more years of playing, and in September of this year, I'm going to decide whether I want to continue as an active player. Right now, I'm not too sure. I'm swinging the bat pretty well, and I'm pretty healthy, but it hadn't been a great deal of fun playing baseball here in Philadelphia. We're going to get things together, and hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be in a better position, and I'll be in a better frame of mind when I sit back and take a look at this team and its chances of winning, and that'll give me more of a feeling of wanting to come back.
Well, for me, the biggest problem was the fact that we were losing. We had 2 losing seasons in a row, and it was not fun coming to the ballpark. And I know you felt this way because we've talked about it over the last couple of winters, not knowing what your future is. But Bill Giles could really entice you if he really wanted to.
Bill Giles wants to a lot. He wants to entice me, but I'm not sure the pressure he's going to get from the other owners is going to allow him to pay me what I'm going to want to be paid to play. Well, yes, I do. We've had some very small discussions about the next couple years, and not favorable, if you want to know the truth. Come down to nut-cracking time, that might change, but right now negotiations aren't real favorable, and I think that's due to the owner's stance on salaries now. And I owe it to myself, my family, and my fellow players not to take a cut in salary in order to play the next couple years. I know it's a lot of money, but there's a lot of other things involved. I don't know whether I want to face the pressure of playing in the position that I'm playing with this young team in Philadelphia. There are a lot of other things where it could be a little more relaxed and have a little bit more fun in life, you know what I mean, than having to come out here. And I sort of feel like I got a hit for the team to win, and that's not a good feeling. You know, if you could get in that position that Eric Davis is in, or Dave Parker, where they have a real solid lineup all the way down there, and a different guy beats you every night. If Eric, you know, they won 3 ball games with Eric Davis striking out 9 times.
That's right.
I'm not sure they'd let me back on his field if I struck out 9 times in a row.
Well, Mike, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks,
Terrific feat. 15 years for Michael Jack Schmidt. He'll be in the lineup tonight. We'll be back with the lineups right after this.
We've had the exchange of lineups, are in the process of having them exchanged right now down at home plate. The Reds, of course, coming off of an 8-5 victory here last night, a night that saw Eric Davis pound 2 home runs, including his second career grand slam to knock in 5. And the Reds are back in front of the National League's Western Division. What with the Giants losing last night in Pittsburgh, the Reds are back on top by 1/2 game. The 16-7 record is the second best in all of Major League Baseball, second only, of course, to Milwaukee's 19-3 record. The Reds have been a good road ball club, and well, when you are a contending team, a team picked by many to win a division or win a pennant or win it all, you got to play well on the road, assuming, of course, that you are going to play well at home. The Phillies have taken the field, and Johnny, let's take a look at their defense.
Well, in the outfield, you see Chris James, Milt Thompson in center field, Glenn Wilson in right. Great arm out in right field. Mike Schmidt plays third base. Louis Aguayo is at shortstop, hit home run last night. Juan Samuel is at second base. And there you see Von Hayes at first. Lance Parrish back behind the plate tonight, and Bruce Ruffin is the pitcher. Leading off for the Cincinnati Reds, Tracy Jones playing left field. Playing shortstop, batting second, Kurt Stillwell. In right field, it's Dave Parker. Batting fourth, Eric Davis, and he's playing center field. Buddy Bell is the third baseman tonight. Bo Diaz does the catching, batting sixth. Dave Concepcion is at first base. Ron Oster bats eighth, playing second base, and Tom Browning is the pitcher. And, of course, Tommy Browning is trying to find his rhythm. He's had that good fastball at times, but he has to develop that changeup. Browning struggling to some extent, 2-3 on the year for 6.16 ERA. That's struggling. 30 innings, 36 hits. There's Bruce Ruffin. He's the pitcher tonight, and he's 1-1 with a 5.25 ERA, and he's not had a great deal of success against the Cincinnati Reds. We talked about that in our pregame show, and Ruffin actually has a 1-1 record, and that's the worst that he's had. He's been very successful since being called up in June of last year. Very successful, and they rely on this left-hander. They also have Shane Raleigh. They also have Don Carmen on the left side as starting pitchers. They really have not got the production they wanted. Indication of their record, and the 7-14 just doesn't sound very good for the Philadelphia Phillies, and maybe a lot of it had to do with the fact that the Mets lost Gooden, they lost McDowell, and all of a sudden it seems like the same thing that almost happened to the Reds last year when everybody went down for the Dodgers.
No question. It's been a very, very tough struggle here in the early part of the year for the Phillies. The one salvation that they have is because of the mediocre start by the New York Mets and some of the other contending clubs in the Eastern Division. They're only 5 games out of first place in the Eastern Division, so they are pretty much make that 6 games out, but still very much within striking distance. This copyrighted telecast comes to you through the courtesy of Multimedia Broadcasting, authorized under television rights granted by the Cincinnati Reds solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds is prohibited. So after a lengthy pre-game ceremony honoring Mike Schmidt, we are set to play baseball. It has been off and on periods of rain, a wet Saturday here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We had a brief spell of bright sunshine late this afternoon. It got cloudy again, but now Some of the blue skies are starting to come out as Billy Landrum slams the door shut to the outsiders in the Cincinnati bullpen, and Tracy Jones settles in to lead it off against Bruce Ruffin. Ruffin in with the game's first pitch. Schmidt makes a pickup, and fittingly on his night, he has the first chance and takes care of it flawlessly. One away.
Yeah, why not? You know, and of course it's his night. He's got to be a little pumped. He kind of was lost a little bit before the game, not knowing exactly what was going on tonight, and he's had a lot of success against Tom Browning.
Here's Kurt Stillwell, another 2-hit night in the 8-5 series opener. Stillwell hitting at .320 now with a couple of home runs and 13 runs batted in. Bluffs a bunt, and that pitch is in there from Ruffin for a call strike. It is really interesting, what with Barry Larkin now off the disabled list on the active roster, he is in the same boat today that Kurt Stillwell was in when the season opened. Kurt, of course, was sitting. Barry was playing, went down with a knee injury suffered on that first weekend, that Sunday against San Diego, when Stanley Jefferson of the Padres came crashing into him trying to break up a double play at second base. And when Larkin went down with the hyperextended knee, Stillwell went into the lineup, and he has played and hit like gangbusters. 1 ball, 1 strike. Make that 0-2 on the Red shortstop. There you see Barry Larkin seated right down there on the dugout bench. Very active. He is available to play, although Pete pointed up earlier tonight Pete doesn't feel that he is totally 100% as yet. Hit hard. Man.
I'll tell you what, he wants to be right back in the lineup, but he's going to have to do a lot to get back in this lineup, and he's going to have a tough time. I mean, let's face it, I don't think you can go wrong with either young man, fortunately for our side of the park.
No, I said, you know, Johnny, I said all spring, and I'm sure it's true that there are clubs in Major League Baseball today who would absolutely commit murder for a good young shortstop. And I don't think people realize how blessed the Reds are to have not one but 2 of them.
Well, I just hope they don't try to cause any controversy between the 2 and who should play and who should not. And the same thing as our outfielders. We're very blessed to have the people that we are, along with Concepcion in the infield, to fill in at any position.
Dave Parker with 1 out and 1 on here in the first inning, waving at that slow breaking ball. He had a 10-game hitting streak stopped last night, Parker did. Struck out a couple of times, grounded out, reached on a throwing error, was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. That was the play that preceded Davis's grand slam home run.
You know, he's mad at Bernie about that. Bernie he didn't bring his lucky sneakers or something. I don't know if you know anything about that?
No.
Oh, yeah, he was in there hollering at Bernie, yeah. Said that Bernie didn't bring his lucky sneakers.
I've never heard.
Running sneakers, maybe. Huh?
Can't add to that. Call strike.
I don't know if they were red shoes, Dorothy models or not. I didn't know.
Parker batting .286, 8 home runs and 18 RBIs. Glenn Wilson waving off center fielder Milt Thompson for 2nd out of the inning.
He got behind in the count, and there you see Glenn Wilson, one of the leaders in assists last year, 20 of them on the year, and I guess he wanted usually that's the center fielder's ball. He usually calls him off of everything, but Glenn fired it back into the infield like he wanted to get his arm loosened up some.
The umpires tonight behind the plate, Paul Runge at first, Joe West at second, Randy Marsh at third, Bob Engel.
Is that Randy out there?
That's old Randy. I just checked him with a binocs. Davis now leading the National League in home runs. He is tied for the league lead in runs batted in. 9 and 21 respectively, along with the 2nd best batting average in the league at .383. There goes Stillwell. There's Schmidt. And the inning is over. For Cincinnati in the first, no runs, 1 hit, the single by Stillwell, who's left on base. And after a half inning of play here in Philadelphia, the Reds nothing, and the Phillies are coming to bat.
Phillies come to bat. They got the Reds out in the top of the first inning, and here's the defense behind Tom Browning tonight. Tracy Jones, Eric Davis, and Dave Parker in the outfield. Buddy Bell, Kurt Stillwell, Ronnie Oster, Dave Concepcion. Bo Diaz does the catching, and the old left-hander himself on the mound, trying to even that record at 3-3.
And leading it off for the Phillies, their center fielder, Milt Thompson, who checks in tonight at 297. This is a very, very important start for Tom Browning. He has not pitched well, and I think there is some concern on the part of Pete Rose and Scott Breeden over the roller coaster ride that he has taken here in the first almost 1 month of the season. Browning with a high ERA has been very hittable, and we've made the point on numerous occasions. Tom Browning, not an overpowering pitcher. He has to stay ahead of the batters to be effective, and that's something he has not been doing. He comes back here to even up things against Thompson at 2-2.
Well, you better not look away.
Boy, that's the truth. Tracy Jones giving chase, but it bends out of play.
Rose just barely has time to put a sign down and get up in the crotch. I mean, if you took time to get up in your stance, you'd look up and the ball's already there.
Tommy checking to make sure Tracy's back at his position in left field. Good way to start things off, a strikeout, and Johnny Bench takes a look at the Reds' batting order.
For the Philadelphia Phillies, it's Milt Thompson playing center field leading off. Juan Samuel bats second at second base. Von Hayes is the first baseman. Mike Schmidt, third base, batting cleanup. Glenn Wilson plays right field. He'll bat fifth. Lance Parrish is a catcher. Chris James plays left field. He's batting seventh. Luis Aguayo is the shortstop, and Bruce Ruffin is the pitcher.
And here's second baseman Juan Samuel, who's been swinging a pretty good bat of late for the Phillies, batting .282, and that average has been climbing. 1 home run, 9 RBIs, and he's a top base stealer in a club that really has not stolen all that many bases so far this season. Philadelphia with only 13. Nice hop for Ron Oster, and he gets his man. 2 out.
They really have not run much. They haven't done much of anything up to this point, and, you know, Hayes, Vaughn's had a chance to do a lot of running, and he's only got 3 stolen bases. It's amazing because he leads the league in walk with 19. He's got 16 hits, 1 home run, so there's 34 times that he's been in a position to run, and he only has 3 stolen bases. That means the whole offense is shut down, and they haven't created any runs.
Here's Hayes now with 2 men out. Well, there naturally have been rumors here in Philadelphia that John Pelkey was on the hot seat. He had an interesting comment a couple of days ago. Well, with all the problems the Phillies have had, he laughed. He said, "We've had so many problems, and this club has played so poorly, they can't blame me for it." 2-0 the count. No score first inning. Hayes hitting .235 with a home run and 9 runs knocked in. Certainly far off from the kind of numbers that you would expect Von Hayes to post in the future. Browning falling behind now, and of course if Hayes reaches base here with 2 out, the guy they all came to honor tonight will be up next.
Well, these are the 2 guys he has to be extremely careful with.
He walked him. It has really not been as much a case of walking a lot of people for Tom Browning. That's only the 10th base on balls that he has given up now in 31 1/3 innings of pitching. It is simply a case of being ball 2 and no strikes, 3 balls and 1 strike. Counts such as that more often than not have come back to haunt him. And now here's Schmidt. They're going to wave Hayes around. He will score, and Schmidt starts off the night with a bang as his double into the gap in right center has given Philadelphia a 1-0 lead. RBI number 22 for Mike Schmidt, who now leads the National League in that department.
Browning does not trick Mike Schmidt, and that's why he has to be careful. Both Von Hayes and Mike hit him well, and there's a fastball just out over the plate. And he got out there over the plate, and he got it really just an extension of where he is. He has to be careful of getting the ball in on him because he doesn't think he can overpower Mike. And Mike right now swinging the bat well, and you see that good power. You see speed here, and all of a sudden some offense created.
Brings up Glenn Wilson. Philly right fielder takes it low for a ball. He had his 4th home run last night. These two clubs together hammered 7 balls out of here. Philadelphia had 4 home runs. The Reds had 3, with Davis getting 2 and Buddy Bell the other. Of the games played last night and yesterday in the major leagues, everybody was in action. 13 games. There were 45 home runs hit.
All right. That's what we want.
That's what the folks pay money to see. I'll tell you that. And if you're Tom Browning, you have to be saying to yourself, here we go again.
Well, that ball's hit hard, too. I mean, Buddy Bell just barely had time to dive. Everything being hit right on the nose here, and I just wonder that there's not a lot of deception right now in the speed. I'm telling you, he's really jerking through, and actually, he looks almost too strong. He looks like almost the fastball he's able to throw it too hard, and he's got no effectiveness, but he's not changing that off-speed pitch enough. There's not enough deception right now to keep him waiting back.
Getting a good look at the man who came to Philadelphia with a lot of publicity during the spring training schedule, former Tiger All-Star catcher Lance Parrish, and it has been anything but easy. The transition from the American League to the National League, the meager numbers, and Parrish has been the focal point of a lot of verbal abuse.
No, in Philadelphia?
They have been a little bit tough on this young man, and
they booed the kids here the other day at the Easter egg hunt when they didn't find any eggs.
In most other cities, you might say no way. In Philadelphia, you'd have to think about it for a moment. Joe West says he went.
Sure he did. That's what happens when you're hitting $1.80. It doesn't matter. I mean, when you're on Interstate 88, I'm going to tell you what, it doesn't really matter. You can't hold your swing, and that's a ground rule double if he makes good contact.
So Browning in front, 2 strikes. And just missed with that one a little bit high.
Yeah, you can see the problem he's having at the plate. He is not comfortable at all up there, Marty. You can see him jumping, carrying the bat forward with him, and he's got everything out front.
Davey could not hang on to the baseball. Do they have a play at third? They do. And no, he's safe. Now let's see who they give the error to. That looked like a catchable ball for Dave Concepcion. Even though it was to the outfield side of the bag, it looked like it was catchable.
Well, Buddy clears out, and Kurt has to throw off balance. And he put a lot on it. That's E3 right there. And the ball gets away, and this looks like an out. The ball's there. And he made a heck of a slide to that outside corner. Bob Engel doesn't miss many, and I don't know that he did this one either.
So the first inning, a 2-run inning so far for Philadelphia, continues. Here's outfielder Chris James playing left field tonight.
Who'd you give the error to?
Well, I guess you got to give it to Kurt Stillwell on the throw, because the replay showed that Davey tried to short hop the ball.
Well, it looked like it hit right in the tip of the glove. I guess it's in the dirt, though.
James batting .259. No homers and no RBIs. He, of course, is the brother of New England Patriots running back and a good one, Craig James. So this young man comes from fine athletic stock. One ball, 2 strikes. Browning retired the first 2. Thompson a strikeout. Samuel a ground out, but then Hayes walked. Schmidt doubled him in. Wilson singled him home. Parrish reaches on the error. And the Phillies continue to bat. 2-2.
Marty, it almost seemed like he's working too fast to me. And I have not seen Tom pitch all that much, and I cannot tell from just his pattern. So I have to look at some films to see what's happening. I know they are looking at him, but it looks like he's really rushing everything at this point.
He picks up his second strikeout of the inning, but not a good start for Tom Browning. as the Phillies hit him for a deuce on 2 hits, 1 error, 2 left. And at the end of 1 complete, Philadelphia has gone out in front here 2-0. 2-0 Philadelphia as we head into the top half of the 2nd inning, where Bruce Ruffin is confronted by Buddy Bell.
Number 25.
Little inside joke there. Buddy, 276, his 2nd home run he hit in the 2nd inning here last night. He's knocked in 11 runs. So Ruffin has been given a 2-run lead. Let's see how he goes about taking care of things. Ball 1 to Bell. I tell you, it did not take this kid Ruffin very long to get to the major leagues. 2-year pro with about 1 year in the major leagues. He is a man who the Philadelphia Phillies called up immediately upon releasing last year Steve Carlton. And they called him up out of the Eastern League, a Double-A league. He went straight into their rotation and led all major league rookie pitchers from that point on with 6 complete games. 1-2 on Bell.
Reminds me a little bit of Al Downing. You know, he hits the spots and works, got the off-speed stuff, and every now and then shows you a fastball.
He gets Bell, and that's his first strikeout.
A lot of that you can tell might come from Claude Osteen, who was with the Dodgers for so many years. And a lot of that they teach. You can see that back leg when the follow-through just sort of flop around on the other side of the mound. And as we get that good shot from the back from center field, we'll see that a lot more.
1 down here in the inning. Bo Diaz at the plate. 17 RBIs for the former Philly. A home run with a batting average that you're looking at right there, 267. Samuel on to Hayes, and quickly Ruffin has retired the first 2 in the inning.
Marty, nice, very decent crowd on hand. A lot of it, of course, to see Mike Schmidt, and maybe a lot to see the Reds, but also a lot of people are across the street.
Thank you. Last night, the Phillies had to contend with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA playoffs across the street at the Spectrum. Tonight, they have to contend with the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Islanders in the NHL playoffs. A strike is called to Concepcion.
He is painting that outside and down and away.
Well, he had his first major league victory last year against Cincinnati.
Dave Parker wasn't too pleased after that game. He was very disappointed. Next time we see him, we will get him, I remember him saying.
Yeah.
They did.
He did. Davey tries to take the left-hander the other way, which he is wont to do most of the time when he faces the lefties. Reds will finally be seeing a right-hander in the wrap-up to this series tomorrow. Kevin Gross will oppose Bill Gullickson, and then the Reds head on to New York after an off day on Monday. Night games against the Metropolitans on Tuesday and Wednesday. Ruffin displays his fielding wares, and the Reds go down quietly. No runs, no hits, and nobody left on. We're in the middle of the 2nd at the Bet in Philadelphia, and the Phillies lead by a pair. 2-0 Philadelphia. Louis Aguayo settles in to begin the 2nd inning for Philadelphia. Tom Browning in 1986 gave up 24 first-inning runs in his 39 starts. That was the most, or the 4th most in the National League. And well, he's suffering from that problem tonight, having allowed the Phillies 2 runs in the first time at bat in this one. Aguayo getting a 2nd straight start and assured himself of being around tonight when he homered last night. Browning behind, 2-0.
Got to watch out for this little shortstop. He has power. And if you throw that fastball, you don't get it in a good location.
You're right. Hit number 3 for Philadelphia, and all 3 have been extra base hits. Or 2 of the 3 have.
Well, when you get behind in the count, to anybody, that's trouble. But when you're not throwing well and you're not tricking anybody with that fastball and you get behind in the count, there's not too many things you can do. Aguayo, veteran shortstop, and there you see a tough angle and tough chance for Tracy. He stays right with it, and Aguayo has to stay at second.
Now they're looking for Ruffin to bunt. Concepcion and Bell are shallow on the corners, and he doesn't disappoint them. Strike one.
See where the Giants sent Roger Mason back to the... I tell you, they've made a few changes out there. They've been in first place, and they ship people up and down. Hammaker back now for a little while. And
Robbie Thompson disabled. Uribe back on the active roster.
Chris Spire has filled in out there for them. Stay in first. We need to win tonight.
Ruffin unsuccessful on his second attempt, 0-2. Nothing going on by way of a score between the Giants and the Pirates in Pittsburgh here in the second. What about the start of Tim Raines today?
Marty, he's been working out.
Yeah, he has.
Somewhere. I don't know where it's been, but I don't think that he was at home watching the, just watching the games on TV. Is that amazing?
2 singles, a triple, the first time up this season off the right field wall in the first inning, and then a 10th inning grand slam home run to win it.
Off of Roscoe.
Yes. So much for spring training.
I saw John Felsky down there. I said, well, that sets you back, didn't it? He said, yeah, I think I'm just going to have them phone their work in.
Sure. Strike 3 call.
Here's a Red special day. Here's a Red special date, especially for teen fans. It's teen night on Friday, May the 22nd, when the Reds play the Pittsburgh Pirates. All teens may purchase box or reserve seat tickets for half price in advance of game day. You won't want to miss it. Kick off your Memorial Day weekend with the Reds and the Pirates and special prizes for teens, all on Friday, May the 22nd at 7:35.
Milt Thompson back for an encore. He struck out in the first inning. Aguayo out at second after leading off the inning with a double to left. Ruffin failing in his effort to bunt him over, ultimately called out on strikes. Hello. Oh, just a little bit short of our TV booth here at the Vet.
You know, after that one time, after the time in Atlanta when I made that catch, I just get in the mood just to come over the top of it here.
Now don't get over the don't get in the mood.
I can handle it, okay, folks.
2 balls and a strike.
You know, you could go over here. They got such a low counter here that it hit just about the knees and do a...
Yeah, you could do a header right into the
seat. It gets you in the thighs.
Yeah. Well, that's the price you pay for being a midget, my friend. 3-1. Juan Samuel, a dangerous hitter on deck. Browning trying to get his act together, and right now not having a whole lot of success as Samuel waits. There's Milt Thompson, former Atlanta Brave. He's been very happy with the job he's done so far this season. He walked. That was what started Browning on the downhill slide in the first inning. The 2-out walk to Von Hayes. Pete Rose watching something that he has seen all too many times already this season as pitching coach Scott Breeden jogs out to the mound.
No, they're going to get somebody up in the bullpen, and they're going to wear this bullpen out. I mean, we got a committee, you know, a starter and a committee pitching every night. It's going to be Johnny Holstaff, but we're going to have to start calling it unless we start getting somebody out there to go 8 or 9 innings. This Gully went that in Houston. We got great performance down there, but already Billy Landrum looks like is down in the bullpen and getting heated up. These guys cannot complain about not having enough work out there getting in.
I don't think there's any question, or you certainly cannot argue with Pete when he says that, in his opinion, he has the best bullpen in baseball, but there comes a time when you certainly have to get some innings out of your starting pitching, and right now the Reds are not getting that. 15 pitchers they used in the 3-game series against Atlanta. They come back here last night and use a total of 4. Uh-oh. That is problems. The way that ball carried, 2 runs are going to score. Samuel's going to get 3 out of it, and the Phillies lead 4-0.
Well, Marty, he's not fooling anybody, and these guys, even with a curveball, and that's just a roundhouse curveball. It's shown forever. And here's the problem. And the fans stay away from it. I wish he'd have grabbed it. That would have made it only a double. But the ball has to kick back out of there. And the first move that Stillwell and the left fielder make is to go towards the line. Ronnie Oster, that's how far it went over in the center field, folks. Ronnie Oster, with his good hustle, went all the way over to pick it up. And I'm sure there's some people shaking their heads right now, not knowing exactly what to do. And there's two of them that can't understand it.
Meanwhile, the signal has come down from the Cincinnati bullpen that Bill Landrum is ready. You see Johnny Franco waving that cap. That's an indication to Pete Rose and Scott Breeden, if you want to make a change, your pitcher is ready to come into work.
Well, they shouldn't have had the ceremony here tonight.
Here's a call strike.
I think that's what
Pete Rose has to take part of the blame for that, because Mike Schmidt made the request to Philly management. I want to have it when Pete Rose is here with his ball club.
Well, Monday's an off day.
Pete could have stayed over. The heck. This happens more often than not, folks, if you go back and look. I can remember one exception. That's when they honored a broken down old catcher at Riverfront Stadium a few years ago, and the Astros won that game 5-2. Of course, he did hit a home run. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That ball's hit pretty well, or certainly deep enough to allow Samuel to score. And it is a 5-0 game, Phillies.
Well, I think he wants this guy to get Schmitty out if he can, and try not to have to use a pinch hitter. I mean, he's going to have to go with a pinch hitter as it is, and the rate we're going, he may not have a choice. Schmitty, Wilson, and Parrish, and then James, all big right-handers back-to-back, and Landrum's just going to have to wait. I doubt that Browning would start the third, even if he got out of the second.
Schmitty served up a run-scoring double, too, in the first inning. Smith, who presented the ball that he hit for home run number 501 to Pete Rose in pregame ceremonies.
Wonder how much Pete will get for that.
Here's a pitch. Outside, a ball, 2 strikes on Schmidt.
You know, the good thing about it, too, is that we're here for that. And, of course, all of our fans out there watching tonight from Dayton who get to share in a moment with Mike Schmidt. There's a lot of people up there as fans. A lot of them Reds fans.
Yep.
And, of course, Mike Schmidt fans, too.
3 runs are in, 2 men are out, the bases are empty. Browning 2-2 with Schmidt.
Looks like he's sweating, Marty.
Well, Pete stayed with him as long as he could. As Johnny said, he certainly would have liked to have been able to get through this inning with Browning and then hit for him in the top of the third, but already with the Reds 5 runs down and Schmidt coming up with a base hit to keep the inning alive. Right-handed batter coming up next in Glenn Wilson, so Pete is going to bring on the rookie right-hander Billy Landrum, and Tom Browning with another tough outing. He has been a major mystery in this first month of the season. Browning leaving, that's Bill Landrum coming in for the Reds bullpen, and with this second inning breaking the action, we'll be right back.
Landrum on the mound. That's the field here in Philadelphia. Billy, the young right-hander, has to come in with a now 5-0 deficit. And for Tom Browning, 5 runs on 6 hits. And actually, we've been a lot better off if we hadn't had the error at the 1 point. That was last inning, but this inning, Billy's already given up 3 hits, base on balls. And Billy Landrum comes in tonight with a 2-1 record. ERA of 5.19, but a lot of people like this young man's arm. In fact, one of them. Good live fastball. Throws the slider. Of course, young kid, impressive. You know, he reminds me of a coach. He looks just like one of our former coaches. He looks a bit like Jimmy Lett. And for most of spring training, I sort of ignored him because I thought he was one of the coaches.
Well, he comes off of a very good outing against the Atlanta Braves on Thursday afternoon at home. Take a look at Mike Schmidt, who's stationary down at first base after getting his second hit of the night. In that game, Landrum went 2 innings, allowed no hits or runs, struck out a batter, walked a batter, and picked up the win, that 9-8 victory over the Braves in 11. Wilson, a run-scoring single in the first inning, knocking in his 7th run of the year. Phillies in front, 5-0. Lance Parrish, a former member of the Detroit Tigers, the Phillies making deals or signing players as free agents off of that club over the last few years, and certainly Wilson has been a big plus for this ball club.
It was a pretty good trade, yep, for both ball clubs when the Tigers got Bergman and Hernandez.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Oster to Stillwell, and Landrum comes on to get the final out of the inning. But Philadelphia gets 3 runs. On as many hits, they leave 1. And at the end of 1.5, the sad but true tale, Phillies 5, Reds nothing. With Johnny Bench, Marty Brennaman back at the vet in Philadelphia. As we've said many times in the past, if you're going to trail by a sizable margin, you'd certainly rather have it early because you got time to make up ground. The Reds right now are looking up at a 5-run deficit as Ronnie Oster opens up the 3rd inning. Ruffin has allowed 1 hit through the first 2. That was a single in the first inning by Kurt Stillwell. The crowd reacting, and that's probably because the Philadelphia Flyers, they couldn't have scored a goal. Hadn't even started yet. Pitch is low and inside for a ball, 1-1. No, they have scored.
Yeah, there was puck off at 8 o'clock.
Well, if there was puck off at 8, it didn't take them long to get on the board. Philadelphia Flyers leading 1-0 over the Islanders in a must-win situation for the Philadelphia team. 2-1.
All right, with all the problems, the Reds lead the league in ERA.
That's right.
And of course, most of that goes to the bullpen. But we're in first place. Let's just try to keep solving these problems as we go, and everything will be fine.
I went back and checked just for the heck of it today, Johnny, to find out exactly what the differential was between the starters and the bullpen.
I knew if anybody had it, you would.
4.36 has been the ERA for the starters as opposed to 1.59 for the bullpen. That is an indictment, and it's also a compliment.
You can't have everything.
No, but you certainly have to have better starting pitching than this club has gotten of late.
Did you expect a terrific starting rotation as we started the season?
Did I?
Yes.
No.
But we did expect some
better than this.
Something at least in the 7 and 8 innings. We're not maligning the staff particularly or singling anyone out. There's some struggling, and when you struggle, if you can win, boy, that makes it all the more better.
Bill Landrum batting for himself, and you might be saying, well, how in the world can the manager let a pitcher hit when you're 5 down? What we were talking about in the last inning. Pete has gone so often to his bullpen that you simply, in this situation, have to let this guy hit when nothing's going on anyway.
Marty, he's hitting 500.
Well, you have to let him hit regardless of what's going on. 1-1 the count.
Now we take over.
Billy Landrum broke somebody's bat. I hope it was his own.
They have some pitchers down there with their just says pitcher on it. I think they're very particular about it. A lot of the regulars will not let, even a lot of the guys that aren't playing will not let a pitcher grab a hold of one of their bats. They'll go and look and say, okay, you can have this one. This is the one with the thin grain that's chipping.
Were you benevolent in that department? I mean, if a pitcher wanted to use one of your bats?
Nobody wanted my bat. I don't know why. I mean, it was 35.5 inches is one reason, too. A lot of pitchers didn't like it. Tommy Hume liked it.
Strike call to Tracy Jones, who first pitch hitting started the game off with a ground ball to third. Ruffin trying to retire his 8th consecutive batter since the single by Kurt Stillwell with 1 out in the first. Just low. If you are scoring with us, that play in the first inning, the ground ball that Parrish hit slowly to the left side of the infield, they credited him with an infield single and tacked on a Kurt Stillwell throwing error because of the runner Wilson's advancement to third base. So the numbers in the first inning should read 2 runs for the Phillies, 3 hits, 1 error with 2 left. And they have a total of 6 hits on the night. Schmidt will do him in again. And the Reds are out in order again. 8 in a row, Bruce Ruffin is retired, and the Phillies are rolling. At the end of 2.5, they lead Cincinnati 5-0. 5-0 Phillies, bottom half of the 3rd inning coming your way, and Bill Landrum, who came on in relief of Tom Browning to get Glenn Wilson to bounce into an inning-ending force out on the 2nd, now begins his first inning. Native South Carolinian. Went to the University of South Carolina. His dad was an outstanding athlete at Clemson University, and of course they are the bitterest of rivals in the Palmetto State. Here's Lance Parrish, 1 for 1 with that infield single we were talking about a moment ago.
Got off the interstate.
Yes, he did. Got it up to an even 200. Despite the bad batting average, he is still second on the club in runs batted in with 13 to Schmidt.
Well, catchers, bad backs. Wait till about June and that heat starts warming it up.
2 balls and a strike to him. He certainly carved out for himself an outstanding career under Sparky over at Detroit. Swing at a miss.
Look at that head fly out of there, Marty.
Yep.
Just front shoulder flying. Everything's moving. So anxious to hit. You're right, folks. It looks easy up here.
Well, I'm sure that there is that unbelievable desire, as the Philadelphia Flyers apparently have scored again, for immediate acceptance. And the only way a newcomer is accepted on a ball club by his fans is to produce and to do it early. And that's a problem that he has had to live with. Oster climbs the ladder. Parrish might have had that chalked up as a 2-for-2 night. Ronnie took it away from him. Good play.
Hit it right on the nose, and the shift was on because this ball looked destined for center field. Look at that. That's getting up there. That's glad you're 6'2", Ronnie.
The fielder, Chris James.
Now Chris James back for the 2nd time. He was a final 1st inning out when he struck out. Phillies get 2 in the 1st, 3 in the 2nd. Big 5-0 lead as they bat in inning number 3. 7 wins and 14 losses for this ball club. They hold everybody else up in the National League East.
Fortunately, no one is playing that good.
Nope. Landrum has to get over there, and he does. 2 out.
You could hear get over there from our mics down around the dugout area. That's Bo Diaz screaming at Landrum and making sure he's aware to get over there, that he's just not entranced. And either it's 3-0 or there's a big fight. Everybody's going shutouts. Everybody's going shutouts because the Flyers are up 3-0, and that may be a bigger lead than this 5-0 lead here.
I would, yeah. Louis Aguayo, 2 down, nobody on. A quiet inning, which has been the exception for Philadelphia tonight. Double into left and scored in the second. He is considered to be the better offensive player of the two that man that shortstop spot for the Phillies. The other, Steve Jeltz, a much better defensive player, but the Phillies at the moment, they're saying let's go with some offense. And that's the reason that Aguayo's in the lineup and Jeltz is watching.
Yeah, you can't have 4 or 5 guys in slumps in the same lineup. Pretty good fastball.
Yes, indeed. Hey, Landrum making a very, very concerted bid to not be the player that goes to Nashville when the time comes in the minds of Reds management to bring up Jerry Royce. He struck him out swinging, and the inning is over. The Phillies go down 1-2-3, and we go to the 4th inning with Philadelphia leading Cincinnati 5-0.
5-0 here in the top of the 4th inning as the Reds come to bat, and we've got the starting guy out of here. We got a reliever, and Joe, we got to do something here.
Hey, this has been a rough two, hasn't it? Bill Landrum did an excellent job, but TB, I don't know. He is up in that strike zone and the good hitting areas, and boy, you just can't pitch up there and be successful unless you're throwing 99 miles an hour.
Well, they weren't being tricked by him, that's for sure. Here's Stillwell. He has the only hit of the evening for the Reds, and he hits this one hard. And right at James, it's in the lights. He has to go down on one knee and wait for it to come out of the lights, and Kurt hits the ball hard again. 1 down in the inning, and that brings up Parker. Well, if Landrum can hold him, and Joe said that he's done such a good job, we might have a chance with this offense. Joe?
Here you can see Chris James. He is really fighting to find that ball, and he finally does, as you can see, on one knee. And that's almost as bad as one getting in the sun.
Well, number 100 at bat for Dave Parker this year. 28 hits and 18 RBIs, 8 home runs. Go with a stolen base. Big guy's done just about everything, and he's been hot. Had a hitting streak broke last night, and here's Ruffin with a slider in the outside part of the plate. Joe, I haven't seen enough of Tommy and consistency to see, and I was just making the statement, is he working too fast?
Well, that's his nature, John, is to work quickly, but he just, his control is, I think, first of all, he's early in the count, he's trying to be too careful. That would be my assumption. He's trying to make that perfect pitch, and he gets behind in the count quite a bit, and then when he has to make the good pitch, it just isn't there. He's up, as I say, up in the strike zone a lot, and
well, you don't want to pitch there.
Only if you can throw it 99 miles an hour, and then it's a gamble. But Tom, he's a battler, and maybe he's pressing now. I don't know.
Well, you can see that on his face. Grounded over the mound. Samuel, who's had a busy night, able to field the ball and get it over to Ron Hayes. 4 assists for Samuel already, and ground balls seem to be the thing out of the outs. 1 ball to right field, and then another ball to left field, and everything else on the ground. And here's Davis.
Well, I think that's the nature of Ruffin. He throws that little sinker up there and keeps the ball down, and if he does, he's successful. You see a lot of ground balls, not a whole lot of strikeouts, although he's had 16 and 24 innings coming in to the game tonight, but basically he makes you put the ball in play.
Well, this man could put the ball in play in a hurry. Grounded to Schmitty last time up.
Didn't Marty discuss the home runs last night?
No, we didn't, Joe. We didn't discuss that double either. Well, I think he's going to have to hold right there, and that's a respect for Wilson's arm. He hit that ball on the nose, and Joe, tell me he broke a bat and hit a ball out, and sometimes when you break a bat and it doesn't break in half, it actually becomes like a fungal, like a springboard.
Well, the second home run that Eric hit last night, he actually broke the bat and hit it out of here in left center field. But the first one, he didn't break the bat.
Didn't break the bat?
He might have broke the ball. He smoked that rascal.
Bell, a strikeout victim his last time up. 8-game hitting streak on the line for Buddy. Homered last night.
45 home runs hit in baseball last night.
I think that's great, Joe. I'm tired of the pitchers having all the edge.
So you guys, everything.
Hit well. Back into left center field. James back at the warning track. Gone! Home run! Make that a 9-game hitting streak for Buddy. Gus, this one's for you, and this Bud's for you, Buddy. Bill Landrum just hold him.
Well, Buddy's third home run of the year, and of course his second came last night. Here's another look at it, and there's Rufflin's pitch, and it's right there, about belt high, a little below, and Buddy getting under it a little bit. James going to the fence, but he couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, just a little bit of overthrowing. 5-2. That's no problem. We're within range.
Buddy hit his second last night off Don Carmen, leading off the second inning.
Outside with the ball. 1-1. 2 outs here as the Reds bat in the top of the 4th inning. Phillies come up with 2 in the first, 3 in the second. They run Tom Browning. Now the Reds behind Buddy Bell's third home run of the year. Close it to 5-2, and they've had a lot of success with Bruce, and you can see right there the young man who's been getting that ball down and away on the corner.
Well, you can see
it.
You can. That's right. He's trying to overthrow the ball now. He's going to jerk up on it and lose all of his rhythm. So
you can see it too.
Got 3 runs to work with. So it's what are you going to do about the 2 at this score?
I'll tell you what. You see this Reds offense enough, and you start becoming defensive. Ball topped over the mound again. Here's Aguayo on to Von Hayes. The Reds come up with 2 hits. They scored 2 runs in the inning. They trail after 3.5, 5-2. Reds close the gap to 5-2. Billy Landrum on the mound. He took over for Tom Browning. He'll face Bruce Ruffin, Milt Thompson, and Juan Samuel. There you see the hero of last inning. Big 2-run homer. Big because it was kind of lethargic up to that point. Ruffin was having no problem throwing ground ball.
Well, Bill Landrum, John, I know you've seen him a couple of times, but probably the big thing with Bill, he gets ahead of the hitters and then gets hurt on 0-2 pitches. And he was really disgusted with himself, as Pete was, at one start. And since then, the times he's been in there, he gets ahead and has been making some good 0-2 pitches. There's a fastball, 0-2 right now, and of course the pitcher up, but still there again, it's good practice, even with a pitcher, to try to make that perfect pitch or just off the plate. There's
that's a good pitch. Joe, he came to me.
Would you try to say something to Runge on that?
He came to me in Houston and asked me, and just said, I just want to talk to you for a second about what I'm doing. And I said, well, are you trying to be too fine? And that's the kind of pitch I wanted you to make right there.
Well, we talked to him along the same lines, and you know,
it's smart of him to do that, to go around and ask, you know, not just, I mean, not the guy on the street. I mean, we get enough information from all of those people, but to ask you and to talk to me and get an idea. And, well, that's good that it's becoming effective. There you saw a good end result of it.
Well, like we discussed with him, and I know Scotty did too, that you try to make a good bad pitch, if you understand what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And that was the problem. He was trying to make a perfect pitch, and it was too good.
Boy, he's making some good pitches right now. You want to entice them into swinging at that pitch. I mean, you want them to hit it, and if you've ever seen Ted Williams, There's a check swing in towards the Reds dugout. Our cameramen down there are taking a beating at this point. Ted Williams shows his area right off the old. Whoa, get those cords up. Ted Williams shows his area, the rectangular, of where the percentages are. The 400's in the middle and the 160 is down and away and up on that hard corner. So Billy Landrum with that good overhand yellowhammer and a good moving fastball. Thompson stands in at 293, fouls one back. Kind of now at this point has established himself as the center fielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. Look at Billy, good concentration and a good fastball. Chopped high, he's going to have to hurry. He can't get it. Well, he knew he had to hurry. And as a result, either that or the lights may have hurt him as well. Yeah, it looks like he may have been affected by that, Joe. We can probably see that in the replay.
It's hard to tell right there whether the lights did that. It looked like Kurt might have wanted to rush things, and he really had to. Thompson gets down the line real well.
Well, they may not have had a chance. They gave him a base hit on it. And Thompson, who has the best base stealing percentage on the club, 83%. He's now at first base, and 3-run lead. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take off. Samuel at the plate. Juan, there's a triple. There he goes right there. Bo's got a good chance at it. Nope. Well, it was a great throw. He got rid of it in a hurry. A strong throw, but Bill Thompson, those are the guys, 83% you're not going to throw out.
Here's the pitch by Landrum and the throw by Diaz, and it's a good throw, but Thompson with a good speed just in the head of the tag. Here's another look at it, and you can see Thompson is there safely ahead of the Oster tag, but it was interesting to see Milt Thompson's jump, throw back to second and Thompson back. He was not, he had both feet in the dirt area. So what does that tell you? He steals on the pitcher.
Get that kind of lead, you don't have much of a chance, and Mo did everything he could. Samuel looks at the ball down, and it's going to be chopped to shortstop. Stillwell has it, and 2 outs in the inning. So a good sinker by Landrum brings up Von Hayes. Samuel became the first player in National League history to reach double figures in doubles, triples, home runs, and stolen bases in his first 3 years. Here's Hayes hitting .235, 1 home run, 10 RBIs, leads the league in base on balls. Sacrifice fly to right field last time up. Into the stretch, and a breaking ball misses down and away, down and in. When we flew in this morning at about noontime, it didn't look much like baseball was going to be played in Philadelphia. Then the game was being played in New York, and the skies cleared down here, and there's a ball well hit. Foul, get out of here, foul. That's okay.
Well, you talk about home runs here, and you look around the stadium and you see a S out there in right field above the exit. Willie Stargell hit one there. You look over in left field and left center field. There's Stargell's, and that's a long way, but let's take a look at Greg Blazinski's in left center.
I don't know if we got a camera that gets up that high.
There it is, 1, 2, 3, the 5th row, right over the Giant sign in left center field in the upper deck. Now that is a long haul.
On that seat up there?
That's it. Look.
That must be.
There it is, right there.
That's the bull side. A long way. You'd have to change planes in Atlanta to get there.
Remember when the Liberty Bell was hanging down in front of the upper deck? And somebody, Santo Aquila, asked about the crack in it. They told him Bull Wilsinski hit it with a line drive. Oh, boy.
Thompson at second base. 3 balls and 1 strike and a pickoff attempt. Stillwell trying to get back in behind Milt Thompson, and well, that's what you get for having too much speed. They're trying to hold him close, and it really doesn't make much difference. With 2 outs, he's going to be going on the contact, and the only thing they have to worry about is him stealing, and they may have riled him up enough to make him do that. Foul ball will be out of play.
Hey, you look out in left field in that upper deck, and there's a lot of bullseyes out there. Some of them are covered by fans, but I can see
I had one over there.
3 or 4 of them.
You see any benches over there?
They don't have a beat on it. No, they're all seats.
They all have seats, no benches? Oh. You ever throw any that far, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a headhunter.
You know my theory on home runs when I was pitching. I said, if there's going to be one hit, make it interesting. Those ones that just drop down the back of the fence now, that upset me. The other ones did too, don't get me wrong. But at least I knew I had something to do with those.
Full count. Got to be careful. And he's throwing some good fastballs. You could see Hayes trying to protect against that breaking ball as well, and he's getting around late on it. LA has scored in the top of the first. They've scored 2 runs. Chicago, American League, hit a Baltimore 4-0. Cleveland, Kansas City, nothing. San Francisco and Pittsburgh scoreless in the 5th, and Atlanta leads Houston 1-0 in the 3rd. There's a ball hit on the ground to be in the hole. Tracy Jones will come up with it, but he has no other play than second base. Another RBI for Von Hayes, and Billy Landrum. Well,
here's a look at the pitch, and not a bad pitch. You can see on the outside corner, but Hayes reaching out and going with it and grounding it between Buddy and Kurt, and Thompson scores easily. Well, that might be a big run right there. Hopefully not.
I think their 8th and 9th runner is going to be big if they get that far.
I hope you're right.
An infield chopper got Thompson on, and now Schmidt 2 for 2 on the evening, a single and a double. Swings late. And a good fastball upstairs by Landrum. Hayes with 3 stolen bases up to this point, but looks like they're turning everything on for Mike Schmidt night. And you would think because he's batting, he's running in front of Schmidt, that he will hesitate to run. Bo being very successful this year with his percentage of throwing out base runners. Struck out Ruffin, and then he got an infield chopper that Kurt Stillwell looked like he lost in the lights. At any rate, had trouble handling because he was trying to rush to get Thompson. And stolen base and a base hit by Hayes puts the Phillies out in front by 4. They're now leading the league in RBIs with 22. Outfield straight away for Smitty. Well, that'll go all the way to the backstop. The problem with everybody complaining about an 0-2 pitch is that you try to be too fine or just try to miss completely so you don't get in trouble, and sometimes that is the end result. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A wild pitch charged on the play. We're in the top of the 4th here in Philadelphia. Joe Nuxall and Johnny Bench. Hit in the air down the right field line. Well, I don't think he'll get to that one. Nope, back in the crowd.
I think Mike checked in the handle of his bat there. He's not sure whether it went or not. Apparently it didn't.
Big Dave Parker. Well, they're clapping all over this neck of the woods. Across the street, the Flyers are playing the Islanders. They're ahead 3-0 last time we heard. And now they're starting up the same chant. Kind of, if you stand on the street, you have it in stereo. Hit right at Oster on a short hop. Ronnie up with it, and that'll be the inning. But the Phillies get a Well, they get 2 hits and score a run. They extend their lead to 6-2 after 4. Reds lead at 6-2, and Saturday, May 9th is Dave Parker Wristband Day at Riverfront. The first 10,000 youngsters in attendance, 16 and under, will receive a set of wristbands just like the one Dave Parker wears, courtesy of Empress Chili. Each set of Reds wristbands contains the Reds logo, there you go, and the number 39 woven on the front. So don't forget, be at the ballpark to watch the Reds take on the Phillies at 2:15 and the Dave Parker Wristband Day. Thanks to the folks at Empress Chili. Right there on the left, the Empress Chili and Big C and 39, and the bat didn't come with it. Missed again, 2 balls and no strikes. Quickly to Concepcion, 275 and 4 homers lifetime. Davey hit back to the pitcher last time up. Big 4-for-4 day last time we saw him down in Houston. It's Bob Nepper and company, and he misses again. Does Ruffin. Now trying to be very careful. That 4-run lead.
That guy Hoffman throwing down in the bullpen, so these 2 guys get on, though. Davey and Oster will see a pinch hitter in the world. Terry Francona is moving on deck.
Well, Barry Larkin activated today. He's the right-hander.
Second baseman,
Might be a choice, Terry Francona. And they think, who's in the bullpen for the Phillies? And somebody's stirring around even down there. John Felsky doesn't want to go too long against this Reds ball club because he has such respect for their ability to score runs. The leading offense, lead the league in hitting, and of course lead the league in home runs. And a left-hander up down in the bullpen, Joe.
It looks like Don Carmen, last night's starter. Nope, take that back. That's Dan Schatzeder.
Yeah, that's Donnie Schatzeder. Schatzeder. We'll take a shot at that. Well, he missed again, and there's 2-0. And Danny warming up, and while he's, well, here comes Darrell Osteen now. It is Schatzeder. Ha-ha. Knew I'd played against him long enough. Phonetically out in the old green book.
Clyde Osteen, you can see talking to Bruce Ruffin with Lance Perry standing nearby, and seems like since the home run that Bell hit in the 4th, he's starting to get up with the ball and
really overthrowing. He had excellent control up through those innings, and you know, in his starts so far, Joe, he's had his problems. He has not been out there too long. He went, well, what was it? 6 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, 7, and then 4 again. So he hasn't been able to sustain anything. And Ronnie's taking a fastball on the outside part of the plate, and whatever Darrell Osteen said was probably what Joe just told you. And that was to, there you see Terry Francona. He'll be the hitter as it stands right now. Pete could take him down if Oster's on, or the runners are in a different position. Misses down, and the count goes to 3-1. Ronnie hitting at 277. A little bit of a slump since going through Houston. 1 home run and 8 RBIs, and Ruffin will check Davey at first.
you see the pitching staff that Ruffin was on at the University of Texas? It's impressive.
Giraldi, Clemens, and who was the other one?
The kid with Cleveland.
Swindell?
Swindell.
Yeah. So when you get a chance and you were sitting home at night and you see at ESPN or somebody like that on with that college baseball, and you start saying, well, can these guys really pitch in the major leagues?
It's heavy stuff.
I even circled that. Oh, you're right. Likes to hunt and fish, but I guess who doesn't? Off the hand of Oster and back into the crowd. Concepcion at first. Ronnie at the plate. Francona in the on-deck circle there. You see the lead by Davey. He's got it 1 foot out on there. I think that's a one-way lead. He's going back no matter what he does. Ground ball hit back up the middle off of Ruffin right at Samuel. He's going to get a double play out of it. Well, be in the right place at the right time, Joe.
Well, that's the breaks to the old ball game right there. That's a base hit up the middle without a doubt, but not in this case. You can see, I don't know whether he got his glove on or not, but he couldn't have thrown it any more perfectly to Juan Samuel. And Juan, a little indecision there as to whether to give the ball to his shortstop. And then he said, no, I'll just take it myself. And it turns into an easy double play.
Well, now Francona will hit. Ruffin now goes from the windup. Just outside. Terry, 193 average, 11 hits, 1 home run, that being opening day, 5 RBIs. And a breaking ball up and in.
He had a base hit last night, John, in a pinch hitting situation in the 6th inning. He had a hard ground ball that came up on Von Hayes and picked up an RBI. Von lucky it didn't hit him in the face. It was really a wicked hop.
Taking all the way, and Hoffman now will probably have finished his warm-ups, and there you see him putting his jacket on. Probably wait out in the bullpen to, and after the inning, head in. Ball hit down the left field line. Chris James over, makes a nice running catch, and the Reds are down. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. The end of 4 1/2. It's the Phillies 6, the Reds 2. Phillies lead at 6-2 at the bottom of the 5th. Guy Hoffman on, taking over for Bill Landon, who came in the relief of Tom Browning, who had a very poor outing. And you know, the Reds, Pepsi, and Burger King team up to bring you a special event that you young Reds fans won't want to miss. Friday, May the 8th is Pepsi Burger King night, and the first 25,000 fans 18 and under will receive this attractive plastic mug, which features a spill-proof lid. It's perfect for picnics, barbecues, or any other outdoor activity. So mark your calendar. It's Pepsi Burger King mug night on Friday, May 8th, when the Reds meet the Phillies. Well,
Look at this.
Oh, look at there. That's a great picture.
Mug.
Look at that mug. Yeah, that's a good mug right there.
Well, the old timers
You can take that to a picnic or a barbecue or anything. You know, just right in here. The question was, I'm the only one to hit 3 home runs here in Philadelphia. Who am I? And then they put the choice, the picture up, and 4 names up. Ron Oster, Pete Rose. Can you imagine Pete Rose looking like that? That young? No chance.
That was a young picture. I'll give you credit.
Hoffman working with Glenn Wilson. Wilson 1 for 2 on the night.
Guy is making his 5th appearance. He's won 1, lost 1, and a good 208 earned run average. He started 2 games, 17 innings, 16 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 3 walks.
At in center field, Eric Davis is there. And Joe, there's so much talk about Jerry Royce right now. And I don't know, it seems like it's almost the fact that if he just pitches even decent that they're going to call him up here. And the 2 kids we've seen tonight, in fact, I don't know, maybe 3 people we've seen tonight.
It's hard to say what they have up their sleeve. Royce, I guess, pitched decent last night or the night before in Nashville, but we'll see what Pete and the troops have to do. Certainly Tom Browning in his outing, you know, it's getting to the point now where you almost, in a sense, are forced to do something, but maybe give TB another shot at it, and we'll see what happens from that point on.
Well, he got up to a slow start last year. Working all convinced that he will come around. Here's Parrish, 1 for 2. Infield single in the 1st, and then lined hard at Ronnie Oster. He had to make a leaping catch to snare a ball that was going into center field. Lance is, needless to say, struggled up to this point. Not just hitting, but catching as well, as 21 consecutive base runners have stolen. really off the pitcher, but basically off it as well. And this is going to be another infield hit because Buddy has no play. And just keep killing those worms and use that speed. Well, everything seems to be bouncing right, Joe.
Well, swing the bat, put it in play, and something good might happen, and it has twice for Lance Parrish. That's his second infield hit, and you see the ball chopped slowly right near the bag where Buddy will feel the ball, but no play whatsoever for Buddy, and doing the wise thing, hanging on to it, and Parrish with that gifted base hit in the first inning.
Well, the ball actually bounced on the bag as well. Good hands by Buddy, and he was playing back almost to that white line. Stillwell was that way in the first inning. Off position with a breaking ball, and that's such a long way to come. In fact, they're running almost as far as Parrish is to first base. I used to do that to Bob Gibson. I used to just wear him out about 68 feet from home plate. Yeah. Chris James on 0 for 2 on the evening.
Well, not too many people wore out Bob Gibson now.
Maybe I should just say I wore out the grass and the worms there. Looking for signs as Parrish.
Talking about great competitors in this game. Bob Gibson was right there at the top.
And how?
You play with your whiskers. A little twist in that back foot, and he got right serious about it.
Breaking ball down that Bo kind of liked. And there you see old Jimmy Davenport giving signs that maybe a hit and run or something on. James keeps looking down there. Over at first base, well, there's Del Unser.
I guess Jim Davenport got on the Gus Heffling maneuvers, and last year he wasn't throwing hardly any batting practice. When he did, it was not much of an effort for Davy, and he got on Gus's program, and I watched him last night. He was getting it up there pretty good. I was kind of proud of old Davy.
Well, Bernie, we've already talked about your birthday last week. It was Monday, so we're not talking about it again. There you see concerned pitching coach, Scotty Breeden. Aguayo stands in with one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Good pitch on the outside corner. Taken for a strike. The balls are hopping right for Philadelphia as we are in the 5th inning. A couple of infield singles, a glancing blow off of a pitcher for a double play with the Reds as Oster had hit the ball back up the middle. Looked like a base hit, but got Ruffin on the hip and right off to Samuel. Foul back into the crowd.
John, you look at the game, and Browning's pitching, and you go to the first inning, and it's 1-2, 1-2, and then Von Hayes, he walks, he scores. And then you go to the second inning, of course, Aguayo led off with a double, a strikeout of Ruffin. He walks from the left-hander, and Milt Thompson, and bingo, and they both score. So, you know, it's easy to say, though.
Well, he had to walk a couple of them. When he threw them over the plate, they hit him so hard. Ball hit on the fist into center field. I didn't think he hit the ball that hard. Eric Davis is able to get it back to the warning track, and Lance Parrish thought about tagging up and instead returns to second base. Runner at second is Parrish. At first base is Chris James, and
Phillies pitcher Bruce Ruffin.
Ruffin stands in for his third at bat, and this has been our rally killer right here, Joe. 2 strikeouts on the evening. Hoffman works with a fastball for a strike.
Well, he's 0 for 10, I think, John. Yep, 0 for 12 now. Don Carlin last night is 0 for 40 as a major leaguer, I believe, as a hitter. Of course, there was Sandy Koufax. Now, he was a threat at the plate.
Anna Gary.
Hank Gary. So who were some of the other great hitting pitchers?
A ground ball that Oster shouldn't have any problem with. He doesn't. Over to Davey, and Sides retired. They leave 2. They get a base hit, but they don't score. And the score still stays at 6-2 after 5. We go to the top of the 6th and also to the top of the batting order as Tracy Jones leads off. Kurt Stillwell, Dave Parker behind them. Texas got beat today by Toronto 9-8. And if you watch the game on WLW this afternoon, you saw a barn burner. And what a debut for Tim Raines. 2 singles, a triple, and a grand slam home run. Jones looks at one inside, and that grand slam did him in, and the Montreal Expos finally wound up winning at 11-7.
Necessary to have spring training?
No, just phone it in.
Just walk on up there.
He said he didn't. He's usually a slow starter. He told the press that he's usually a slow starter, and that he didn't expect to get off very good. And so the first pitch, he hit off the right field wall, and Tracy Jones almost took Juan Samuel's glove right on into center field. Boy, Ruffin, who was very successful at keeping the ball down and away, Joe, has kept Samuel busy when he's really located that pitch in that area.
That's exactly right, and now he's back to the way he was throwing earlier in the game. He's just relaxed and throwing the baseball, not trying to do too much with it.
Well, the offense can only go so long. You know, they got to feel like they got to keep coming back. If they get some runs early, it takes a little pressure off, but get behind 5-0, and you sort of get in the hole. Stillwell's 1 for 2, and he's hit the ball hard both times. He chops one over, bounces into the stands. Got the first base hit of the game for the Reds in the first inning into left field, and then laced one right at Chris James, who had trouble with the lights but was able to make the play. Error's been charged to Kurt tonight. Ball that chopped off the plate. It may have gotten in the lights, was credited with a base hit, and then a ball that looked like Davey should have had at first base. It looked like he tried to pick it up, and at the same time the ball was there, and if he just let it come into his glove, but got by him, and the runner from second went to third, and that's where the error was charged. Chopped down towards Schmitty. Schmitty over to Von Hayes. 2 out on the inning. Let's pause 5 seconds right now for stations to identify themselves on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
You're watching the Indiana Sports Station, WTTB, Channel 4.
Dave Parker broke a hitting streak last night at 10 games and was 0 for 4 now, finds himself 0 for 2 on the evening. Stands in, trying to just get on base. Get something started in this inning, and a fastball up and in. Get some of that thunder up there behind him. Let's get some base runners. There's a good sinker down and into Parker, and that's the same fastball that the right-handed hitters have been hitting to second base. That's good movement. They were swinging over the top of that. We'll watch Parrish. He's going to weigh maybe a breaking ball. Hit fair down the left field line. That'll careen off this, the front of the, he's going to have to hold up in front of the stands, and that curvature got Juan Samuel a triple, and you can tell who plays here and who doesn't.
Well, it's a tough place to play, but there again, you could see Chris James. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He could see that the ball was well foul as it went down the line after, of course, being a fair ball. So his first reaction was to come right straight toward the infield, and that, of course, holds Dave to a single. So good play by the Philadelphia left fielder.
6-2. Eric the Red, they're calling him. Oh, he hit it straight up in the elevator shaft. If it comes down, Samuel may be able to catch it. He does. Talking about just missing one. That's what happened to Eric Davis. He was going to make it 6-4, but the Reds did not score. They got a hit. They go to the bottom of the 6th, trailing 6-2.
Wow.
Guy Hoffman back for his second inning. And he'll face the leadoff hitter, Milt Thompson. Thompson one for two on the night, got an infield base hit. Also scored in the second inning after he was walked, and scored on the infield base hit in the fourth. So 1 for 2 and 2 runs scored. Also a stolen base in there. It was a good effort by Bo Diaz, but too big of a jump for the fleet-footed Milt Thompson, the center fielder for the Philadelphia Phillies. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Crowd kind of settled in. Thompson looks a pitch upstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, there was a lot of excitement in the ballpark. Mike Schmidt being honored for his 500th home run tonight. Struck him out with a good breaking ball. Reds baseball has always been a good entertainment value, but never more so than on family days. Our first Family Day special is Sunday, May 24th, when the Reds take on the Pirates at 2:15. The head of the household pays full price, and the rest of the family pays half price if tickets are purchased in advance of game day. It's a great value, so don't forget Family Day when the Reds meet the Pirates on Sunday, May 24th at 2:15. Hey, you got to go for that. That's a good value. Strikeout for Hoffman. That's his first. Comes into Samuel, and he pops one back out behind the screen.
John, watch Guy Hoffman deliver the ball, and one of his 2 starts, he pitched very well in. Actually, there's a fly ball to Parker and right. But he's pitched very well, and I would imagine that Pete and Scotty might be considering maybe giving Guy another start.
Well, you know, it might be what Tommy needs, is just to get out of the rotation for 1 round and have a little talk with himself. You're right, Hoffman did have a good effort. And, well, anything to get Tommy righted is what we're looking for at this point. Trying to get this guy out, too, while we're at it. He's 1 for 1. Had a base on balls in the first, sacrifice fly in the second. And then had a base hit into left field, driving Milt Thompson. That was for the 6th run of the game, and there's a good breaking ball right there. I tell you, you can freeze those left-handers, and of course you take a chance that getting it upstairs like that, but you freeze a lot of them. For some reason, those old left-handers have a spin against the rotation of the earth, we'll say. And that's why that curveball breaks around you. There's Michael Jack Schmidt waiting on deck.
Well, if it's against the rotation of the earth, then the right-hander should have a better curveball because it's with the rotation. Is that what you're saying?
No.
No. Okay.
We'll have to talk about nuclear physics on another day. Physicist. I never was a physicist to begin with.
We'll bring the spinning ball up here.
Yeah, that's right. Hoffman working, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and the ball hit into right field for another base hit for Von Hayes. Hayes hitting 246 coming into that at bat, and he's not having any problem solving the pitching for the Reds tonight. And that's hit number 10 for the Phillies. 6 runs on 10 hits. Mike Schmidt at the plate now has 2 of the 10 hits, and he has an RBI. Samuel with 2 RBIs, Hayes with 2, Schmidt with 1, and Wilson with 1, and you would have to say that that's what they kind of expected from their offense all season long, that they have not been able to get. Schmidt with a single and a double. And a lot of people in the stands that came in for tonight's game to honor him, that the Phillies gave him the choice, opportunity to fly anybody in he wanted to, and Michael took advantage of it. If you saw the pregame show, Bruce, Little League coach, high school coach, Bob Wren, our good friend from the University of Ohio. There she goes. Make that 5-0-3. Will it be? Yes.
teach you anything, John?
Well, I think if he were retiring, it would be even more so.
Of course, he's not retiring, but it reminds me of that one you hit on your day in Riverfront. You see Mike, there's not a whole lot of doubt about where that was going. It didn't go quite as far as it appeared to go, and Mike comes out for a little bow or curtain call, and that makes things right tough. Now 8-2, and we got 3 more swings at it.
Hit on the ground hard at Buddy Bell. Has it over to Dave Concepcion. That's the 3rd out of the inning. Mike Schmidt hits home run number 503 of his career, and it's good for 2 runs. And the Reds trail after 6, 8-2. Phillies lead at 8-2 here in Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. People starting to drift in, drift out at this point. We came to honor Mike Schmidt, and he's put on quite a show tonight. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs. And Bruce Ruffin trying to hold that lead. Reds closed it to 5-2, but then run in the 4th inning and now 2 in the 6th. It really turned it into a very uphill task for the Reds. And this is a man that was equal to the task last time. 1 for 2 and a home run. Headed over that 371 sign. 330 down the line, 371 in the alleys, and 408. I guess that wall is about, what, 10 feet tall, Joe?
I think it's 8, John.
I think we're about 8 feet
check
tall.
her out.
I think we're 8 feet tall. I think they're probably about 10 here, if I can recall. Chop towards shortstop Aguayo. Overspin and a quick throw is able to get Bell. You know where to find all that good stuff, don't you? Ground rules.
Where do we find the size of this place?
Well, the fence out there is 12 feet tall.
12 feet? You're kidding.
No, how about that? Height of the walls, all 12 feet tall. I knew where it was.
Chamberlain have time catching one.
That's why you don't see many guys jumping up and catching one over the fence there. Hit on the ground to Schmitty. No problem there. 6-3 and now 5-3 if you're scoring. Reds potent bats last night, scoring 8 runs. They scored 8 runs the day before in the day game, and now tonight Bruce Ruffin holding them basically without any problem at all. He's had a lot of ground balls. He's had that little sharply hit balls in the infield. Once again, looks like Mr. Williams down there in the bullpen, Joe.
Frank Williams.
Here's Davey. Walked his last time up and now takes the ball down and away. Hit back to the pitcher and walked, and now this is 3rd at bat here in the 7th inning. And unless the Reds get something going, he will not bat on the night. You hate to go 0 for 3 because you know you did not do well. Actually, it would be 0 for 2 for Davey, as he's only 0 for 1 at this point. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Reds. 8 runs on 11 hits. Now he's having problems finding the plate on Davey. Frank Williams pitched last night. Pretty good chance that the guy is warming up in the late innings, pitched in last night's game or somewhere. Base on balls number 2, and both of them been issued to Davey. Ruffin must be more aware of him than we are. In fact, Davey against Ruffin in his career. Where did I have that, Joe? Here it is. Reds hitters versus Bruce. Concepcion 1 for 4. Well, that's not what we're talking about. And here's Oster, who was 0 for 4 lifetime. He hit one back off of Ruffin's hip to careened to Samuel, who forced the Runner Concepcion at second and fired to first and got Oster. Hayes, who was back behind Concepcion, now comes back to the bag, and Davey, with a big lead, now has to go back. And at 8-2, he's not going to run no matter what you do, Vaughn and John.
There's a case of a young man, if Davey wants to run, let him run. You got 2 outs, get the batter. And
Felske's not taking any chances at this point. The winds have come too hard, Joe, but now you see Hayes, and he must have heard you. You're absolutely right, though. He's backed off at first base. And Ronnie, who 0 for 4 against Bruce. Buddy Bell 3 for 4. And Buddy tonight.
Now you get another base runner here and a long ball, and it's a ball game once again.
Well, they've got a guy in the on-deck circle who can hit the long ball, so if we can get Ronnie on, Lloyd McClendon, wouldn't that be something? Get this score at 8-5 and then have a couple of innings to go. Ronnie battling him. Got him even in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oakland defeats Detroit 3-2 this afternoon. This just outside, full count, and Davey now can go all he wants. Full count, 2 outs here. There's Lloyd. Did a good job the other day, Joe, and he started
a super job, John. You would have been very proud to watch the young man his first time.
Well, I snuck down and watched him a little bit. And he came up to me today and he said, "You see the tag at the plate?" And I said, "Yeah." I said he was safe. And he said, "Well," I said, "you know, you made such a good pickup of the ball short hopping, and you had to do it with both hands." There you see John Felske, the manager of the Phillies, that he had to turn and make the tag, and by that time it was just Murphy who made the good play at that point. Pete hoping to pull a rabbit out of that hat, make something happen, and McClendon stands in. He'll bat for Hoffman, and Frank Williams will be on, unless we can do a lot more damage. And he misses again, and now he may have to come in, and that's what Lloyd McClendon's hoping for.
I got Colby throwing down in the Philadelphia bullpen, and Lloyd, as a pinch hitter, is 0 for 3, so he is due.
Well, he's got some thunder in his bat, Joe. When he makes good contact, the ball just jumps up. I know you throw batting practice to him.
You know, it's interesting in watching Ruffin working here with that 6-run lead. Now, he's throwing several breaking balls. Batting start Oster off with a breaking ball, and now he's a ball, no strikes from McClendon, misses with a breaking ball. It's kind of interesting in pitching that way.
Well, he's given up 5 home runs in 24 innings, and maybe he figures he'd rather walk them. And last year, the young man was in the top 10, really, 2.7 walks per game, I think it was. So, Claude Osteen just reiterating what he told him one other time when he was out there, and runners at first and second and a 2-ball, no-strike count on him. There's McClendon. As we saw Colby warming up, there's Claude Osteen going back to the dugout. Davey leads at second. There's Randy Marsh for all you folks down there in Covington, Cincinnati area, and there's O. Look for a gapper, look for a base hit to get this thing going. Let Tracy get up there. Let John Felske do whatever he wants to do. Well, 3-0, and the young man who was in command of everything now has walked back-to-back hitters, and well, he's threatening to do that to McClendon, and Lloyd takes a strike. 3 balls and a strike, and Lloyd probably now will be turned loose. And the 28-year-old basically knows what to look for right here. Ooh. Well, he's up and out over the plate. Lloyd would like to have that one back, but he has to be very patient right here. Joe, the type of pitcher that Ruffin is, looks like that now he may not challenge you. He may go to that nibble again.
Yeah, well, he's going to throw something running away. Basically, that's his fastball, and there it is.
Well, he got the good running fastball out away from him, and Lloyd had not seen Bruce. 2 base runners, no hits in the inning, and no runs, and the Reds go down again. They trail 8-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. We're back as we go into the bottom of the 7th inning. Frank Williams on to pitch, Joe, and he pitched last night, gave up a run, and comes in with a good-looking ERA, as most of the bullpen sport at this particular stage of the season.
Frank's in his 13th appearance. He's pitched a total of 14 innings, allowing 15 hits, has walked 7 and struck out 8, and owns a .251 earned run average. There's no decisions. Last night, Frank worked 1 inning, allowed a hit.
That was a home run, wasn't it, Aguayo?
The 1 hit was a Louis Aguayo home run in the 7th inning.
Here's Parrish, and the big man has 2 infield hits tonight. I tell you, he'll take any way he can get it right now. There's a ball hit well into right center field. Davis looks like he has room, and he does. Well, that ball drifted a little bit more than what he thought. We look at the flags up near the Liberty Bell, and well, there is somewhat of a breeze, and of course the ball has been known to carry well in this park. I thought it was one of the easier parks to hit home runs in here. It seemed like the ball jumped out of here. A lot of people say it about Riverfront, Joe, and I don't really think that.
On certain days.
Yeah, I guess. But it used to be up there. We had Death Valley between the 375 signs in center field. See Chris James. To lean back a little bit. James hitting at .241. No home runs and no RBIs, and the young man had a good spring for the Phillies. And Easler has been playing left field, having a little bit of a problem out there defensively. And tonight with the left-hander Browning, trying to get Chris James and trying to find a winning combination is John Felsky. And there's a good pitch right there by Frank Williams. How much lower was Blackwell than this guy?
Oh, not a whole lot, John, but the thing about Blackie, he stepped toward third base, and, you know, he was about 6'6", I think, and had those long arms. It caused a lot of problems for the right-handed. Even some left-handers hit against Blackwell, but it looked sometimes like he was coming down, at least Roy Campanella told us.
What back in your days did you have as a relief pitcher? I mean,
well, it wasn't near as important at that time. I know going way back to there's a little chopper that Frank Williams will field and throw James out on, but Joe Beggs, as far as the Reds go, probably the first relief pitcher that of any note, and that was during the pennant-winning years 39 and 40, and then probably the next one that came into play was Frank Smith in the early 50s, and then Herschel Freeman came on, and then it was Brosnan and
were there
Bill
saves
Henry.
In those days?
No, there was no
just
saves credited. You just went in and got them out.
And you didn't get paid real well.
They used the word mop-up a lot back then.
Well, we've seen some mop-up tonight, but the mop-up sometimes can get saves under the right circumstance, and Frank Williams, all he can get is a win. And it's going to take a lot of offense to turn that around. Aguayo stands in, and Scotty Breeden with his counter. Right in between that thumb and finger, he pushes that thumb down and counts up the number of pitches that Williams wants to throw. And there's a breaking ball. He gets Aguayo 3 up, 3 down. An easy inning for Frank Williams. Now let's get some runs. Reds trail 8-2 as we go to the 8th. Well, we're back here as Bruce Ruffin goes in the 8th inning, and joining me to, well, Nux wasn't any good about this. You didn't get it. You gave up 5 runs to start with. I sent Nux in, and now you come back and.
Well, you guys got a couple of runs while I was gone. Buddy Bell's home run, but it's been a rough night. Rick Shue is now coming to play third base for Philadelphia for the final couple of innings. He's taken over for Mike Schmidt. Stay fair baseball. Not tonight. Tracy
well,
behind.
Really going
no, it's
bouncing kind of funny up there tonight.
It's been one of those nights. Tracy would say the same thing. That's the first ball he's got airborne all evening. 3 times up, and all 3 times he's grounded out.
Try to put a little lift on it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Cardinals have tied the Dodgers up in the 5th inning, 2-2.
You know, Tracy reminds me of a guy playing bingo that needs one more number. You know, when he takes a pitch.
Yeah.
Ooh, they called my number.
That's right. He'll have to wait until the next time to get that final bingo number. Ruffin has his 3rd strikeout. Got a most important one to end the 7th inning when he fanned Lloyd McClendon to leave 2 men on base. Stillwell 1 for 3.
That's something we haven't seen much of, with that big breaking slider down and in. And the 2-3 ground balls that Tracy had all were sinkers away, so time to mix it up.
Another hit for Kurt Stillwell.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He is very, very impressive.
You know, he's just, to me, and I know you think so too, I just tell you, looking at him from last year to this year, the young man has just matured so quickly, and you have a tendency to do that up here. But he is really mature.
You either do it or you continue your maturity somewhere in AAA baseball.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But he is, you know, he really worries. He doesn't seem like he does, but I talked to him the other day, and I said, maybe you need to go fishing. And he said, yeah, I haven't been fishing in so long. He is so pent up. I mean, he is just, it's nonstop baseball. He is so hungry right now, and he should be.
Dave Parker a hit in the 6th inning after having a 10-game hitting streak stopped here last night. He singled inside the 3rd base bag in the 6th.
So difficult for a 21-year-old to be up here and then have a position, have it taken away.
Hayes will get the force. 2 out.
And then there you see Kurt, and then come in and fight for a job in the spring training, and both really deserving in spring training, according to what they both, how they both did. And then after Larkin got hurt, he filled in so wonderfully. And again tonight, 2 hits for the youngster.
Well, I think you used the right word, Johnny, and that's fill in, because Pete made the point on my pregame radio show with him tonight. He said, I still feel that Barry Larkin is a regular shortstop, but the way things have gone now, he's got to get it back again. 1 ball, no strikes on Eric Davis. A single, a run scored in the 4th inning.
What do you got to do? And not that Barry Larkin probably wouldn't have done just as much either. I mean, that's the best thing about it.
Right. Davis was the big show last night as you look at the very youthful Kurt Stillwell. 21 years old, I'll tell you. He certainly doesn't look his age. Probably a whole lot of mamas watching our telecast tonight saying, now, that's the kind of young man I wish my daughter would bring home.
Well, they wouldn't do wrong if they did.
No.
Young man.
Another knock for Davis.
Well, let's see if it bounces off. Yes.
He'll get 2 out of this one. And Parker coasts into 3rd base.
Eric right now just basically looks like he's going to get a hit every time he swings the bat.
He does.
Is sitting on, I mean, he is flat dab sitting on a pitch, and it's there, and he is in such good position to hit. And well, that brought his average up. Probably got it up another 2 points to 385 or 90.
I guess when a hitter's in that kind of in that kind of streak, the ball looks like a basketball.
And it looks like it sits on a tee. I mean, it absolutely looks like somebody just went out there and put it on a tee and waited for you to hit it.
Buddy Bell homered with 1 out in the 4th inning. And he's up there now in another run-producing situation. 2 men out. A base hit would get 2 more runs in. Ruffin has been on the ropes now in a couple of innings. 2 balls, no strikes. And if Bell gets on, I would imagine John Felske will go down and bring in Kent DeColvey.
I think without a doubt the wins have come all too seldom for John Felske, and he's going to try to manage this first for himself. And I think even with Mike Schmidt, a lot of people want to see a win, and he wants him to keep coming back. Whoa.
Well, that will allow Parker to come in and score. It is an 8-3 game as Davis moves to third on the Bruce Ruffin wild pitch.
Well, again, trying to overthrow it. And, well, look, he had, when he followed through, he knew he didn't have control of it. And there wasn't anything Parrish could do. If it bounces in the dugout, they only get the 1 base. If he goes over and tries to pick it up and knocks it in the dugout, then they get 2 bases, and then Davis would score. So he might as well just take his time because he knows Parker's going to be there.
Buddy Bell a pitch away from getting a walk. Well, you can certainly draw a parallel between this game and the one we saw Thursday afternoon. The Reds trail 8-2 in the 7th inning to Atlanta. McClendon doubled in 2 in the 7th. They tied it up in the 9th inning and then won it in the 11th. They're 5 runs away in the 8th tonight. And Bell walks. And let's keep an eye out on that Philadelphia dugout, and here he comes. John Felske not wasting any time at all as he looks down toward his bullpen as he stops off en route to the mound, as you can see, to visit with plate umpire Paul Runge. And he's going to make a double switch. Greg Gross is going to go in to play left field. And a new pitcher will be brought on, and that new pitcher will be the veteran Kent DeColvey. So Ruffin, who was in trouble in the 7th, was able to skate off the hook as Wild pitched a run home here in the 8th inning as walked Buddy Bell. The Reds have 2 men on with 2 men out, and DeColvey will come on to try and bail out Ruffin and provide the left-hander with his 2nd victory of the season. DeColvey making the long walk in from the right field bullpen. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
Well, there you see Bruce Ruffin, and only 23 years old and upset with himself. You know, you can sit and stare so long, and then all of a sudden you start remembering all the things that you've done, and I said, how can I do that? Well, they bring in a young man out of Fairfield, Ohio, Kent DeColvey. Young man, did I say young?
Yeah.
39. He just turned 40 in March the 5th.
By your standards, he's young.
Yeah, he resides in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There you see some of his stats, and you know, some guys are proud of their fielding too, and Kent's been bragging about the fact that, well, his errorless streak came to an end. 291 games on May the 10th. That's 7 short of breaking the National League record. Ron Lee went 298 games and broke Roy Base's National League record for games pitched in relief, and that was in Cincinnati. A lot of his friends looked on as he 819 games he appeared in, and then he went right on past Elroy as games pitched in 846. Woo.
He's had a fine big league career, no question about that. Bo Diaz with 2 men on base. Buddy Bell running. The pitch is taken. Parrish is thrown down to second, and Bell gets his 2nd stolen base of the year.
Well, we'll give him one this time because he threw it.
That's right.
We gave one to Browning in Houston, as you may recall, and they didn't award it because you have to make an attempt, or if the other team, well, you read the rule.
Yeah. DeColvey's pitched well of late. Only 1 earned run in his last 9 2/3 innings. Bo Diaz is about due. He's hitless in 3 trips up tonight.
Well, I don't understand that. I really don't understand giving up a base.
No, I agree.
You know, you get 2 runs here, and it's 8-5. And now you've got out of that 4-run deal that you want to stay within. And right now they're at 5. That's where you definitely want to be. But you get it within 3, and then all of a sudden you start looking towards the top of that lineup, and you're asking for trouble.
Louis Aguayo, and DeColvey does the job. No runs, or make that 1 run in the inning. A couple of hits. 2 men left on base. We are through 7 1/2 as DeColvey heads toward the dugout, and the Phillies still lead by 5. With Johnny Bench, Marty Brennaman back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia as we move to the home half of the 8th inning. The 2nd inning of work for one right-hander, Frank Williams. JB, you all right?
Well, Marty, you know those famous Philadelphia steak hoagies?
mean the ones that we dined on tonight?
Yes, yes, that one with the peppers and onions.
It was delicious.
You like that? I love jalapenos and stuff like that, but I'm not sure about this one.
In other words, you don't know whether they like you or not.
Right now they're talking to me very seriously about this thing.
Here's Greg Gross leading off. And he takes 4-1 from Frank Williams. Gross, a veteran. He's been around a lot of years. Most of them spent here with the Philadelphia Phillies. Only one hit in 12 times up so far this season. And Buddy Bell the gem. How about that play?
Well, he's had to dive all night. He's had to come in. He's had to go to his left. He's had to go to his right. He's had to pick up balls and have no play on them. And now he's going to have a little pressure check. Get that valve out and check it. Go down to the gas station and check the air.
Well, that spot over at third base tonight is carried off a boatload of gold gloves, I'll tell you, between Mike Schmidt and Buddy Bell. And Buddy just dazzled him here with a great, great play to rob Gross of extra bases.
I'll tell you how quick it was. I don't think we got a replay.
Tremendous reflexes.
That's no discredit to anybody. That's how hard Gross hit it. Boy, the ball really shoots off that, and what it does, it hides in the uniform to go along with it. What a play.
Stillwell with a nice play. And Davey picks it.
Davey almost overstrode a
Sure did.
Overstrided on that ball?
Sounds good to me.
Well, he had almost too big a stride, is what he had. Marty, I'm going to go talk about this hoagie.
All right. John, nice visiting with you. Here's Juan Samuel, and the attendance tonight, 32,103. 32,103. He had a big hit for him back in the second when he tripled the left field to knock in 2 runs. The Reds have been fighting an uphill battle all night long. And if anything, it has gotten worse. And that ball came up on Stillwell. Well, normally you'll get a true bounce on AstroTurf. That'll be a second error tonight charged to Kurt. He had a throwing error back in the first inning. Let's see if that ball came up on him. It was hit very, very sharply.
First baseman Vaughn Hayes.
Well, not as much as I thought initially it had come up on him. He just didn't play it very well, and Stillwell has his second error. Vaughn Hayes takes a strike. Strike. Kurt now with 5 errors on the season, and 2 of them here in this ball game. 8-3, the Phillies are in front. Samuel gets the lead at first against Concepcion. He's running, got a big jump, and Diaz will not even attempt. That's the kind of jump that Williams allowed Samuel to get. When you see a catcher react as Diaz did, you know that he was so overmatched that he felt that discretion was a better part of valor and hung on to the baseball. So Samuel comes up with his first steal of the night and his 6th of the season. And he'll go to third. That looked like a pass ball, but let's see how they score it. Well, they'll say wild pitch. And that's the second delivered by Reds pitching in this ball game. Billy Landrum had one earlier. Now they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Hayes and pitch to third baseman Rick Shue, who came in to replace Mike Schmidt. So the 2-out error by Stillwell has has to some extent compounded itself due to the steal and due to the wild pitch. And Rick Shue batting for the first time. Young man who has really not been able to find a position for himself on a regular basis after coming up through the Philadelphia farm system with good success. They started touting him a few years ago as a real comer. And it has not happened for whatever the reason. He's batting .091 this year in limited playing time, 11 at-bats, 1 hit, and he's knocked in a run. One ball, one strike. Fifth inning, the Dodgers 2 and the Cardinals 2. Over in the American League, Cleveland, Kansas City, they have been under a rather lengthy rain delay, and they're still trying to wait it out. Sixth inning, White Sox 5 and the Orioles 2. Baltimore can't win a ball game. 2-1. Yankees up run on Minnesota 3-2. That's at the end of 4 innings of play. Samuel at third. Hayes got the intentional walk. Eight to 3. The Phillies lead it as they bat in the 8th inning. 2-2. Reds have used Browning, Landrum, Hoffman, and that man, Frank Williams. They have scored off of every Reds pitcher with the exception of Williams. And Shue is struck out to end the threat. In the 8th for the Phillies, no runs, no hits, 1 error. They lead 2. The Reds have 1 more pop at them, needing 5 or more. They trail 8-3. Top half of the 9th inning. Davey Concepcion squaring off against Kent DeCulvey. Reds need base runners. They need base hits. They need 5 runs.
Well, if we go for 5, we might as well make it 6. But let's not be greedy.
No. Been on 2 straight times with walks. His only official at-bat was way back in the 2nd when he bounced back to Ruffin.
Last 2 times on TV, perfect.
2-1.
4 for 4 in Houston. 1 for 1 here.
Ronnie Oster will follow Concepcion, then we'll see another pinch hitter. That's been the name of that tune all night long. Hit it on the ground.
Boy, I was still coming to the outfielders at 1 out, and I see Cal Daniels coming out on the on-deck circle. He'll bat.
Probably see Cal in the lineup tomorrow against Kevin Gross. That finds a hole. Oster has his first hit. Daniels has seen very little playing time of late, although he was a starter Thursday afternoon against the Atlanta Braves and went 0 for 5 in that game. Batting average of .300 even with 7 home runs and 15 RBIs. He was a top pinch hitter on the Reds club last year, but has been a starter for most of this season, so Cal marks only a 2nd time coming off the bench to swing the bat. He's 0 for 1.
Bothered by the knee. It's continued to play him. Anyway, it shows some tenderness. Nothing out of the question, and with the ability of the hitters now coming up to the plate.
1-1.
Colby has been in a few situations. I doubt that much phases him at this point.
Well, you really have to have a somewhat different outlook on this game if you have enjoyed a measure of success in the major leagues over a number of years as a short reliever.
I think Kent really fills that bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has a different outlook, according to Yumi. 853 games prior to this season, and then this is what, his 13th game this year, and that's 66 ball games that he's been in. Now that I guess you'd have to just average probably about 70 appearances per year and figure out that that's a heck of a lot of games just to watch.
Yeah, I'd say so. Jacoby can't find the ball.
Almost got stepped on, too, to go along with it. Fielder's choice. And see Hayes with his momentum going towards second, and it was wide. And now you see trying to go in, and Aguayo really going late and having trouble finding the bag and reaching up at the same time.
Tell you, Johnny, I don't know about Cal Daniels tomorrow. He's very, very slow coming back to the bag at first base. Tony Perez is talking with him, and now Cal is, as you see, he has reached first base, but he certainly appeared to be favoring that knee as he went down the line.
Well, he certainly didn't get down there very quickly, because that play shouldn't even have been nearly that close, as Hayes had to field the slow hopper. Get in there.
Samuel with a fine play. And that wraps up a good evening here at Philadelphia for the home team. No runs, a hit, one left in the ninth. This series is dead even. Philadelphia broke out to a 5-0 lead in the first 2 innings, and they rolled to an 8-3 final. We'll be back. Stay with us. All over here, game 2 at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. The Phillies win it 8-3. Johnny, you're going to lose ball games over the course of 162, but the pressing problem right now, and I know the great concern of Pete Rose, is Tom Browning.
Well, it's not just Tom Browning, Marty. We saw this against the Braves. We saw 7 runs, 8 runs, and now 8 runs again, and that's not the way you want it. Yes, Tom Browning is a concern, and well, I don't know what we're going to do. You're going to have to move people into the rotation. You're going to have to take a different look at it and just give Tom out there and give him a little breathing room. And that's all you can expect from him, but not a good outing at all. And, of course, this ball club, anytime you can have problems with.
Well, one bright spot was third baseman Buddy Bell, both in the field and at the plate, as we take a look at tonight's top job Reds game of the award, and that goes to Buddy Bell. With a man out in the 4th inning, Bruce Ruffin had a big lead, but Buddy Bell got his ball club a bit closer with this drive that got out of here over the wall in left center field. 3rd home run of the year and his 2nd in as many nights. Procter & Gamble top job, donating $100 to the Special Olympics in the name, of course, of Reds third baseman Buddy Bell. This series all even now at a game apiece, a rubber match tomorrow. Bill Gullickson had the bad outing his last time out and hoping to come back tomorrow to pick up a 4th victory of the season as he goes against right-hander Kevin Gross. Once again, the final score here from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia tonight, the Phillies 8 and the Reds 3. For Johnny Bench and Joe Nuxall, this is Marty Brennaman saying so long, everybody.